criteria is basically international criteria. In Europe, we researched is over 51% should be owned by women, and they should be women CEOs. So for this project, we took 25% should be women owned in terms of the shares, and every company should have a women CEO. So I think that is helping somehow to promote women entrepreneurship spirit. We do not do much of political work. I think Zola will could expand more on women in politics, which is also a very big topic, I think, in all of the CAMCA region, right? So we could talk more and expand more on that. But that's a very different, also big topic.
Thank you. Staying on Mongolia, so I'm gonna come to you, Zola. If you can talk a little bit about the sort of the policy side of it, and also as an activist, how do you see things? Whether that's in Parliament, I think you mentioned that there are only 2 female ministers in the cabinet out of 20. Is that what kind of image that is portraying, and how are you trying to change that?
Yeah, as Sarol mentioned, that political space is still like a lot of challenges, especially like in the higher level of the decision-making level. So, for example, when it comes to women's political participation, of course, we've made some progress in parliament, and thanks to gender quota with the civil society organization, women in political parties, with the international donors, we had achievement that gender quota in zipping method in election law. So because of that, we increased the representation of women from 17% to 25% in this parliament. But still, there are many challenges. We can see that lastly, we've seen that female parliamentarians are facing much higher level of social media or cyber violence than compared their male counterparts. So we know many cases, even in, so for example, last month there were like 3 or 2 cases, people are how like women parliamentarians became this kind of cases.
And if you could provide an example of what exactly happened.
Yeah, like for example, we have a government, kind of new government is coming. So previous government, there were many ministers, but like all of them having achievements and bad like reputations, everything. But people or media choosing the women ministers and like judging them not only by their work, like by their like sometimes, yeah, personal life and things like that. In same time, for example, one of the parliament member from the third party, Home Party, she was as a politician, as a parliament member, she was criticizing her party, and after that, there were many kind of attack to her. Even in private message, she was saying like Facebook private message threats that like she was doing wrong thing, and we can see that within the party there are like many kind of threats against the women because she's a woman. And funny or like sad case that prime minister, the previous former prime minister, he was kind of attacking when one parliament women asking question from the prime minister, and he's instead of answering the question, he's like calling her by other male politician name, like, oh, so you are kind of saying she's not independent or like person like that, so trying to threat her and like not giving attention or not respecting her existence, agency. So yeah,
her with others.
Yeah, and she even he was like saying, oh, you are a young person, you should do this and that. But in reality, women parliamentarian was older than the prime minister.
Right.
Yeah, so in like when they see a women parliamentarian or woman politician not as independent, not as a person, or like they don't, there are many cases they don't accept the agency of the women, women in politics, or like even in stand-up, people say women are not funny. So this kind of business, politics or sports, like in many sectors, women are struggling to they must have double standard, double good, like to be equally, equally, how to say, equally, yeah, respected. Yeah. So for the new government, we have 20 ministers, and gender equality law, at least 15% should be like from one gender. So, but still, like now 2 means like 10. So even government are not following their law. So it's like they should set example, but still not.
Is that, in the first place, is that a good law?
We think it's good, like because now we have this law. We together made advocacy. No, not perfect because there are not enough implementation program or like implementation plan. Not enough budget for that. So it's more like declaration. We can see that governments, not only this government, the previous governments, like they never, not never, they, most of the time they don't really meet the minimum criteria of the quota. So.
And are you, in your stand-up comedy, are you at least making fun of these male politicians? How are you responding to the situation?
Yeah, we try. We our comedy club is just next to the parliament, the house, so we always like doing some jokes. Yeah. So still many challenges. So we try to. And there are like, of course, challenges. I think in the region is similar. There are like cultural norms, gender bias. People still believe like men are good in decision, women are more like helping and this and that. And of course, the political party system is not good enough, not for like only women, for the young people, for people who don't have money. It's very hard to be elected or like run for election. So a lot of the system is corrupted. So especially the political party system is. So now civil society is within the parliament. With the parliament, they working on still working many years, maybe 4 years, or like working on the new law on political parties. Awesome. And especially the finance of the political parties.
All right, we're going to come back to you.
Just adding to that, the Sarol has mentioned, it's imbalance. The care work is still like care economy now we're talking about. Most of the time, 87% of the care work are like allotted to women's role. So like people see, so you are a woman, so first you need to carry your children, then you can come in here, sit and we talk with us and this and that. And especially in Ulaanbaatar, when winter time air pollution gets worse, women mostly stay with their children or like go to hospital with their children. So we see that women's labor participation, it's like decreasing. One of the cause, it's like women have to take care of their children. So this kind of urban, especially this traffic jam, air pollution, these things really worsening the situation. Yeah.
Thank you. Farida, maybe we go to you and talk a little bit about some of the opportunities that you see in the tech sector for women, and how are you empowering women in Azerbaijan? How social media is empowering women and young girls. Does it give them the agency that Zola was talking about, that they can speak for themselves, they can choose the job they want? So we would be very curious to hear from you, and particularly from your generation.
Okay, I can try to cover actually all questions what you asked. But when I started, I was like 20 years old, and I was always being told like your ideas were like too ambitious, too early, or no, you cannot do that. And and actually like back then. I and my generation people, like young people, we didn't have actually mentors who to ask, and I wanted to ask some like to be in a social entrepreneurship, in entrepreneurship generally, but we didn't have any mentors, and I actually got experience from summits, programs from abroad, from US, from Canada, from Europe, and I was actually pioneer in that to go to get experience, to come back to your country and to try actually, to spread what I learned. And that was not that easy, because when you're first, and that's a little bit tough, and you can understand. And it was the same with the tech actually. When the tech startup ecosystem was started in Azerbaijan, like it was maybe 10 years ago, and I was one of who was in the center of this. But I did need help too. And imagine when you don't have your mentors, but you should be in a center to create with this with all this stuff, especially for women in tech, and and I'm proud of like I was involved in that, and now. Hopefully in this sector everything is going like is succeeding, and
Is it more women friendly
yeah, definitely.
compared to, let's say, politics that we were just talking about?
I cannot talk from politics perspective because I'm from a tech entrepreneurship, and yeah.
Yes, but
But from my side, yes, and we have a lot of women entrepreneurs, women small and medium entrepreneurs, women in tech, and we organize in a like frame of our foundation organization. We organize a lot of actually mentorship programs, not only for women, because our organization like especially for young people, and for men and women, but we focused on a woman from regions, from low-income families, from families actually where like parents didn't get them, like really quality education, yeah. What was the other question?
I think you answered it. I think you answered it. Maybe Jenny, you can probably elaborate a little bit that how women in this region can scale up to compete in the global market now that you're based in New York.
Thank you.
How can we sort of learn from other experiences?
Thank you so much. But before answering your question, I do want to also expand a little bit about your previous to Farida about the tech culture. Maybe in Azerbaijan it's more friendly, but I would like to say in Central Asia, in Silicon Valley, it is a very strong, broad culture. Okay, so for example, now sitting here, my friend Alyona Tkachenko from Kazakhstan, she's one of the really great women tech entrepreneur in our Central Asian region, who knows the tech herself, who raised the money, who made the kind of very successful skills, things like that, and also many other women entrepreneurs. When I talk to, we have a CEO and a CTO, like. CTO is the people who are in charge of the technology things. But usually when people talk, when you talk to the partner or investors, they will talk to those guys in your team, even though you are their boss. Yeah? So you will bring this kind of male counterpart together to the negotiation table just in order to be taken more seriously. And I had also like heard a case like CEO, CTO, like woman too, co-founders, let's say, they apply for the same program, but usually the male counterpart will get accepted rather than women. So it's a very toxic broad culture. My personal experience, for example, I'm in this my Big Sky Capital team. They are super supportive to women, but it's not everywhere. See, easy things like when I email to other investors, venture capitalists, rarely got responded sometime. So what I did, I go to ChatGPT, I use my email. I said, revise my email into broad language. and they're like, hey, yo, how are you? What's up? Like, this is a closed deal. You know what? Like this. Then I got responded. So even this kind of language, communication language, the surrounding, and the people who you bring in together is a very serious tech broad culture. So we hope and sometimes what women do, sometimes either they get out from this game and say, oh, I'm not gonna play, this is not for me. Or sometimes women become like this broad, like, oh, I need to talk like them, like very broad, aggressively, boldly, things like that. But when I start talking in this way, it's oh, you're a woman. Like, you need to be more soft. Like, so this is like a double standard thing I'm facing, right? So this environment culture, what we can do just to bring more women coming together. And we hope, like, I special thanks, gentlemen, you are coming to this today's panel. Thank you. And we do need your involvement to make this kind of place more inclusive, to hear our stories. Coming back to your kind of real questions, I'm based in actually San Francisco, New York. I interviewed a lot of women entrepreneurs in technology in Silicon Valley. I also talked to the investors. Top number one question, even in America. Give you a question, for example, in America, more than 13 million of the jobs are headed by women entrepreneurs. But you know what? More than 95% of these jobs, they're solo entrepreneurs, even in the US. What it tells me, like, yeah, women having already a small portion of in this world of the work, but they don't hire more people. Like, they're very small, like maybe family business, maybe some candle business, beauty business, that's by themselves, right? So I talked to those people. They said top number one problem with women entrepreneurs is lack of scalability. And this lack of scalability, it depends on, because they don't have capacity of extending to hire more people to run their business in a bigger scale. Second, they also don't have the access to the finance. There's so many programs run by sometimes like foundation, NGO, government, or international organizations. They train the people, mentor people, train the people, mentor people. At the end of the program, they don't give money. Like, how you gonna like expect a woman entrepreneur to launch some startup to continue grow their business if you don't give them access to the capital? So that's that kind of thing.
And what's your recommendation in terms of changing?
Yes, and the last part, just quick, is actually the mindset issue.
Okay.
So women ourselves, we limit ourselves so much, like we don't believe that we can scale it. But the solution part is we need to bring more stories of women, successful women who have made their story.
Wonderful.
Until they see those women, they can know exist. So that's why I see today we have from Economist magazine, our journalists. We need your kind of help to spread the stories of those women as well.
Right, exactly. And more men should come to women's sessions, right?
And
yes.
can I make a suggestion? Also in terms of scalability, I have this kind of idea. Can we make this most successful women's business model, bring them here, and then teach other women entrepreneurs how they made it, make a franchise model or whatever things, then to scaling more. I think here development financial institution can and should also play a very important role as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay,
Sure.
let's, please, a brief intervention.
I just want to add.
All right, Zola first, and then Farida.
Okay, very short. As Jenny said, the storytelling is important in politics too, because we when we see the women and men in politics, mostly women are like they already had many workshop or trainings and programs, already educated enough, empowered, but like people, it's more like increase their visibility is important because they already doing like her story in their community, but people don't see. Mostly we talk about his story, like talk, yeah. So we are like started the her story. That's like one of the kind of artivism, and at the same time the storytelling. It's the very important part in many cases. So just not like there were like hundreds of programs like just empowering and giving women a lot of knowledge and skills. I think they are already enough enough like learned. They just need empowerment and just a little push.
Right.
And like,
I think you said something very powerful earlier, Zola, that gender is not all about numbers, right? Maybe Farida, you want to make your intervention quickly before?
Yeah, just I want to add to what the Jenny said. Why actually like women don't have access to investment? Yeah, why? Because actually investors doesn't believe like really women can do it till the end. And it's kind of end things, I don't know, to the exit maybe in the tech terminology. And because always men investors, it's mainly men, and they think that, oh, she maybe something in her life will change, private life will change, in her family, in her commitments. And it's kind of unconsciously they think about it, if they really believe in your idea, but they believe in main idea more. And if you ask me what was challenging for me as a young woman, it was to prove myself first 10 minutes when I actually had any meetings. Okay, now it's more easier because I already had some, like background. But back then, it was very hard to go to any meeting with a man. Like most, it was men, corporate work, and you should firstly you should prove yourself like you have a brain.
You can do it.
You have a
Yeah.
brain at least, and after like 15 minutes, they're starting to listen you if you say something smart, and but if you are a man, it's easier like to just you to prove your ideas if it's not actually logical. So maybe that's very important. And I think in our region, as I told before, like we didn't have a mentors. Why we didn't have a mentors? Because we were under Soviet Union for a long time, and it was a socialism, and we didn't know a lot about business and entrepreneurship as a US experience, for example, right? And that's why when our generation don't have mentors who actually had a really entrepreneurship experience. And we are not like I told before, we are like a pioneers, and at the same time we don't have a mindset of angel investors and investors generally. And my actually Azerbaijani
Right.
and the region colleagues can admit, like, if we don't have this mindset, how we can actually get to access to this investment if we
Okay.
don't have a general
Okay.
this experience.
Well, I mean, there's no way we can wrap up this session on a negative note. So let's just start storytelling now, and I want all four of the panelists to please think about one success story in your world, and if you can say it, let's say in 1 minute. So as you think, I'm going to open up for some interventions and comments or questions. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's take maybe three, because we have to wrap up, I assume, in the next 5-10 minutes. So let's take three questions. One, hold on a second, please. You, ma'am, next to camera, and Zafar.
Thank you so much. I'm Nadira, fellow from Uzbekistan. I actually want to not ask a question, but more to make addition. So there was one topic we discussed, why women are not represented well in very high positions. When I was in one of international training, that was explained that when women look at the announcement, vacancy announcement, they look at title and then go through all details, trying to put themselves in this position, and in the middle of the text, they find themselves not capable to do it, as if it's so high standards. What man does, so a man looks at the title and salary and go for it. So this is a different approach. That's why we have lack of women, because we don't have this courage. And the second point I wanted to raise, that as Jenny said, that we need role models to share, to be like samples. But I think that who has authority in our patriarchal society? It's a man who allowed women, I mean daughters or siblings, to go to the university or college, or does not. Right? So in this case, I would appreciate, for example, if ordinary farmer comes and shares his experience, why he preferred to invest in his daughter education. why having, let's say, twins, he decided to invest not in boy but in girl. And I think that it is more useful if we engage more men telling their logic and that they see some profit in investment in girls also. Otherwise, what in Uzbekistan happens when it comes like invitation to some gender-related topic discussion, they say in a ministry, oh, send these women. So, and 100% women in the audience, I mean in the room, and they are like girls' night out. Yeah. So it's just a discussion of their pain, but no one is there who is decision making, who has this authority of decision making. So I would prefer engagement of men as more as we can, real stories from the families when men can somehow impact or influence to others. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. If you can pass on the microphone to the other side of the table, please.
Hi, hi everyone. My name is Alona. I'm from Kazakhstan, and I think I have a small add-on to the topic that we shared on the mentoring, because I think there is a popular phrase which is actually a very good one on the fact that we're quite often over-mentored and under-sponsored, and I think just maybe as a commitment or good wish for all of us here, if indeed when the doors close and you're left with one person and you're recommending someone, you can actually genuinely say, I would recommend her for this position, for this job, for this future, for this application. This is very important because ChatGPT can do a lot of things. We can get all the mentorship, we can get everything, but like to the earliest point of bringing men, as well as bringing women, it's like who actually does what for you beyond just verbally supporting, but then not committing. Thank you.
Okay. On behalf of men, Zafar.
Thank you, Zafar Hashimi, CAMCA Fellow. On behalf of men, but I'm going to talk about on behalf of 15 million women from Afghanistan who are deprived of their basic rights, like education and being able to get a job just because of their gender. So you recently had an engagement with a number of women in Afghanistan who are studying online. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and their resilience despite facing numerous challenges? And when the panelists hear your story of that resilience, that impression of resilience that you got from them, I asked them, what is it that the smallest thing that you could do for your sisters in Afghanistan to make sure that their voices are not silenced and that they have an agency on their own as opposed to waiting and playing victims?
Thank you, Zafar. Please.
I just wanted to comment what Jay was saying and maybe put it as a question to you. Because recently we hear a lot about man allyship. So men being advocates for women at job places, workplaces. So do you believe in that? Or do you see any, do you believe in that kind of support? Or do you think it should be women standing for themselves rather than having this man allyship?
Okay, thank you. Okay, then probably as we wrap up, maybe 1 to 1.5 minutes, starting from Sarol. Address any comments, questions raised, plus, yes, other comments which were already raised, and most importantly, the success story. 1.5 minutes.
Great, thanks.
Go ahead, please.
Well, if we start with success stories, we can go on and go on, but I just want to make a couple of points. I think in any success story, specifically for women, the perseverance and persistence, for example, in my personal case, is very important not to give up. And then another important thing is self-motivation. So, you don't wait somebody, cheer you up and all. You have to really work with your own thing. I can do it, So that is, I think, it's a very important approach and mindset. in any of success stories of all women around the globe. And finally, on that note, all of the career support that I've received was mostly from men. Actually, yes, yes. So, and then there's a thinking in Mongolia that women support each other less. So there's an advice, for example, for Mongolian societies that, ladies, think more of yourself as not competitors, but as partners and cooperators. In that case, you will actually outgrow men. So that is the approach that happens in Mongolia, yes.
Totally agree about women should support women more. Like we should expect supporting women than we expect from men. And I think our region is rich in talent, but what we need more it's infrastructure that listens and leadership that mentors and ecosystem that invest in women-led ideas. And I am not only about money. And but big ideas become real when we really have a courage, and the courage to start, the courage to fail, and the courage to be a first in the room. Sometimes maybe only if we're only a woman in it. So yeah, and I think CAMCA Forum is amazing opportunity to us to come here, to change our big ideas. And actually, it's my second forum, and it's actually that I'm a 2023 fellow, and since then we already have some projects with my actually women fellows. We always exchanging our ideas. We're starting something, and that's important. And thank you for organizers. Thank you, Sarah here, and for what we're doing. And that's amazing. And we are leaders here, and we should continue it. We should spread what we're doing to other women. And yeah.
I try to be on time. If answering the short answer, yes, we need both men and a woman to sporting, but I do believe women has more skin in the game. We understand what we are advocating for, so definitely bring more women. Coming about the success story, in Kyrgyzstan, we are very much proud of our woman scientist. Her name is Asel Sartbayev. Now she is based in UK, but she has invented this kind of vaccination. There's a special temperature to reserve the vaccines. And from being a university laboratoria, now she started her own startup called NCL Tact. And she's raising money, it's about like $30 million. I mean, raised by the woman scientist. Right now. And very much fortunately, thanks to the, our Kyrgyz community, I was part of the kind of also women angel investors. So what I want to talk about here, on the one hand, we talking about supporting women entrepreneurs, supporting women startup. We also need to bring the next generation of women investors. So women to invest in women. This story is going to be much more powerful than we traditionally see women as the recipients of the help, women as the victims of the kind of patriarchal systems. So, and using my own example in Kyrgyzstan, I also brought like about 50 women leaders in different sectors. We have our own women sport women community. Mm-hmm. Yes, I did encourage very toxic culture sometimes from women supervisors and things like that. Just because we had this bad experience, it means we have to work even much more to become this kind of role models. So my advice also to the Afghan women, actually I had the opportunity to teach Afghan students in American University Central Asia, and we also have some kind of mentorship sport. My sport will be first, you can build your own women sport women community among yourselves. To have this kind of community, it is also helping the kind of mindset changing things like that. And then potentially thanks to the CAMCA network, we will be conducting this venture capital research. And also I want to bring the best women tech leaders and women investors in venture capital to run this kind of coaching program, which we'll be actually expecting very soon, later this year. Very much look forward to. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. in my panel, I will be moderating venture capital and investment opportunity. Good. I'm inviting all you to join. Great. Thank you.
Because at 11 p.m. we have other plans.
11 a.m. You're right.
Zola.
Yeah, I think overcoming this challenge for us, one of the things is the collective leadership. So in Mongolia, we've created strong grassroots movement and a platform for multi-party women. So which means like a national level, which means women from different political backgrounds can come together, advocate shared goals. It was not that easy. There were many challenges, especially in province level, like the division of the party is very strong. But we made it, and we successfully lobbied for changes in election laws, especially the gender quota. Like, and when the discussion in the parliament happened, women from province and from SOMS messaged and sent 3,500 signatures, like letters to their parliament members. So that's really helped, like, even you're from different parties, like your constituency, women from your constituency were writing letters and sending messages, and they then parliament members like really thinking, okay, I should support this and that. So that was one of the, I think, the success story. And even it was challenging, especially advocacy, like policy advocacy takes persistence and need a lot of resource. But we see that if there are like shared goals, if there is a, that goal is benefiting everyone, like bringing positive change, women can together make together this change. So collective leadership, I say it's, I think, one of the very important thing for us. And yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Zafar. Thank you for raising that particular success story, I would say, in the context of what's happening in Afghanistan with, I mean, as you know, women are not allowed to go to school, they can't travel, and they can't work in the public sector. Private sector also very limited. If you're a woman journalist, if you go on television, you have to cover your face. So the list goes on and on and on. And then the other day, there was this call. Somebody asked me to talk to a group of female journalists inside the country and young women who would like to become journalists. I mean, I thought that was probably not a very good idea given what's happening. And my understanding was that maybe a few women journalist enthusiasts will participate on this public call. And then when I joined, I found out that there were 600 women from across Afghanistan on that call, public call. So imagine the Taliban, all the restrictions, all the challenges women face, and then see this resilience, this out-of-the-box thinking. And I think that is the success story of women in this region. The challenges are great in different contexts, but also the resilience of women, not only in Afghanistan, but beyond, is really, really enormous. And I'm grateful to all 4 Afghan delegates, male delegates, who chose to come to the women's session. I know we don't have a female delegate from Afghanistan this year here. But anyway, we come to a close. Thank you so much for your interest. Thank you to this amazing, amazing, amazing panel for your stories, for your thoughts, and more power to all of you. Appreciate it.